Greetings, this is Zeus. Peace and love to you. And we're going into the Course of Miracles, the Blue Book. And we're looking at lesson number 335. Now, 3 and 3 is 6, 5 is 11. This is on path. We've been talking about forgiveness. And forgiveness is such a beautiful thing. Why is it a beautiful thing? Because I stopped beating up on myself. Most of the people don't even remember they did anything wrong. And if they did anything wrong, it was my perception of the situation, which was based upon my neural network. It's kind of interesting, as I've been studying the law of attraction, the law of attraction states to me that which I am is what I attract to me. Meaning that which is inside my head, the visions, the projections, they all represent the things that were mostly taught to me from 0 to 8 years of age. And these were the days when the child is in what's called the theta state. Now, I imagine there's some children that broke out of the theta state quicker than others. And it might have been a blessing for them because they went through some type of trauma, honestly. Because if the child, which is studied, and I learned this through, you could find it through Dr. Joseph Dispenza, great guy. He's the only man I know that got hit by a Ford Bronco while he was on a bike, and he was competing in the Ironman competition. He was a chiropractor at the time. Broke 10 vertebrae in his brain, had just been introduced to meditation weeks prior, and thought, well, there's no better time here because Spirit had put him down, baby. Down! 10 vertebrae. He was in traction, and the only thing that they could offer him was putting a pole up his spine, and as a chiropractor, he said, no way! You are not going to immobilize me for the rest of my life. I can't do it. And as he was laying in traction, 8 weeks, it took him 8 weeks to repair his spine in his mind. 10 weeks, he walked out of the hospital a brand new man. Now, I'm telling you, if there's anything that can be taught to you, that man's got some stuff. And in fact, he didn't even know what was going on. He said, I don't know what I did, but I owe it to myself and to the world to teach. Teach what I did when I find out what I did. And he studied it out, and he's teaching it, and he's got some amazing impact on the world. So we're going to look at lesson 335, which is 11, on track. And 11 is, I choose to see my brother's sinlessness. That means I choose to see each person. This is what way I take it, and you take it any way you want to, but since you're listening to this, imagine you'd like to hear what I think about it. My thought process is this. I know that the human body, which I'm looking at there, and I don't know what you see, is made of atoms. Okay, and the atoms are constructed into cells, and each cell has 7.5 billion atoms to the power of 10. Now let's go a little bit further into the atomic realm, into the micro realm, and you got quarks and all this dilly squat here, but it all breaks down to what? The electron and the proton are just energy. It's just electricity. The atom is just an electrical wave function, right? A lot of people call it electromagnetic vibration, electromagnetic radiation. Okay, it's all and the same stuff that comes from the sun is what we're made of, right? Everything is, because all the atoms that are in the field are conscious. Man, it blows my mind. It blew my mind when I realized that these crystals, they grow and they're actually conscious, they're alive. That's some amazing stuff. It's a frequency, it's a vibration. So we're looking at choose to see my brother's sinlessness. Forgiveness is a choice. I never see my brother as he is, for that is far beyond perception. Now, what they're talking about is perception is my ability to see a thing, how I perceive the thing to be. You have a reticulated activated system inside your head. This is from the new Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maltz. Great read. I think you'd love it. Anyway, you have this perceptive wheel that goes round and round and round, and it's got about 70,000 thoughts that have embedded themselves into your subconscious brain, and the ego runs off of this perceptive wheel, and it picks up on various things that hurt you at various times in your life, and then goes straight into the play of that, and then reminds you of it, so then you can make a exit quick. Right? So it doesn't happen again. A lot of good situations get turned to shit by that, because all you have to do is just be triggered by it. And then the perception comes in, and that which I see in another man is something that I had created long ago. And I'm creating a new image of the same distortion, which puts me in fear. And then I act out. And then that person reacts to my acting out, and I said, see, I was right. I was right. That motherfucker, right? And it was me the whole time. It was my perceptual wheel. We go into it a little bit further spiritually, because I've heard that there are spirits that come down, and they are God. Right? Everybody around you is God playing a role for you to have an experience, and sometimes the experience is not too pleasing. And those spirits are doing it unwantingly, but they're still giving you the authority as the God being that you are to fulfill your expectations of a situation, because your thoughts order. And so that's where the perceptive wheel comes in, is I'm thinking a thought, and I've seen it before, and now I'm going to create it again. And then the creation of all the elements start going into function for you. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? So let's go back into this. So what I see in him is merely what I wish to see. Okay, so now the perception has dictated what I wish to see, even if I never really wanted to see it. It just, you get what you think about, not what you want. Okay? Meaning, if I'm continuing to think about a thing that I don't like most of the time, and then I add in little fillers of what I really want, I'm going to get what I don't want. But if I can fill it in and totally disregard what I don't want, and then fill it in with what I want, and remember this, the rule is this: if I'm thinking about a thing and I feel bad about it, it's not going to work out well. But if I'm thinking about a thing and I feel really good, I feel beautiful, when you do it, it's going to feel the same way, probably even better. You know, because we can't, no eye has seen, no ear has heard the joy that the Lord has for you. Right? Anyway, let's go back into 335. So, because it stands for what I want to be the truth, it is to this alone that I respond. However much I seem to be impelled by outside happenings, I choose to see what I would look upon. So now this is when we're taking a distinctive stance to wanting what we really want. Okay, so now, by not observing on the situations that come up in the contrary, not observing it, we give no energy to it. Because remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So it's kind of like, you know, the horse where they put the blinders on him so they don't want him being distracted. All they can see is what's in front of them, right? And really that's what you've got to be exactly like. You just have to put the blinders on and see what you want, the goal that you want. And the goal here is to see our brother in sinlessness and in perfection. Perfection being love, and perfection being you at this moment in time, because you're here. If you weren't here, you wouldn't be in your perfect state of being. Meaning, if you're not, I'm trying to make it a little bit simpler, but anytime that you're with another person, you're in a vibrational frequency of sameness. If it feels good, but you're only going to stay there, and it only existed because you were in vibration anyway, because you created it in the beginning. And I thank you for the creation, because I've got life, right? I thank you for the moment, because I've got life. And if I speak life into you, then you've got life too, and I love my creation, right? So now we're going back. 335 wasn't really that big of a thing, but I found out how to fill it in, right? Fill it in with my opinion. Be kind of interesting to figure out where opinion and fact go, right? And truly, if you think it to be so, it is, because belief is the factor of truth for you. And the 13th universal law, the law of belief, if you believe it to be true, it is true for you, and it will become true inside this world in outside influences when you see it. Okay? So, I choose to see what I would look upon. So, I choose to see what I would look upon, and it's the goodness, it's the love, it's the peace. And as I incorporate that within me, what happens is the entire world starts to be, because when I change the way I look at the world I look at changes. Isn't that beautiful? My brother's sinlessness shows me that I would look upon my own. And so we're going to look upon our own sinlessness. You've never sinned. Sin is an archery term, okay? And it's basically you got the bow and arrow. You let it go, and it goes into the bullseye. Okay. Now sin is anything off the bullseye. Now it's going to be a stretch for you, I'm sure, but please open your mind for a second and allow yourself to receive this blessing. In vibrational frequency, you're always in a perfect state of learning, because you're always becoming better. Every day, in every way, I get better, better, and better, right? And so, in this perfect state of vibrational frequency, this is going to be really good. And I really hope that this blesses whoever hears it, okay? In this blessing of vibrational frequency, the only things that you need to worry about are the devils that are in front of you. And a devil is this: anything that stands in your way to live. For not to live is evil, okay? You put it in the mirror. Live and evil are exactly the same thing. Devil is lived. So if you get held back from expressing yourself in the way that you choose to do, that is your own devil. And you, as the devil chaser, all you have to do is stand up to it and do and live and be the highest version of yourself, and you've conquered all evil because you're living, right? And we don't live to harm others. We live in peace and glory with God and all of nature, knowing that everything is God, okay? The atoms that are in the field have consciousness. The atoms in the field or the spark of life is gone, and it's in you. You created it all. In fact, in epigenetics, they say that inside of you, that spark of energy. Have you ever accessed that before? I may make a teaching on it, but you can do it really simple by just closing off for a second and just closing your mind down and just feel the power that's within you. Right? You just take a little moment and get comfortable with that power that's within you. And that is the God force. And from that power within you, that is the creator of the atoms of the field. Okay, so you're creating atoms, you're creating this body, and then 200 million cells are being cascaded into the universe, and the skin of them breaks off and the atoms form whatever they are, and the dust of the ground is the skin of the atoms that are being sent out. That's where it all comes from. And the dust of the ground feeds the ground, because the dust of the ground is life. Because you are life, and every part of you is life. Which, you know, we could go for millions of years on this here. I'm just hitting the scratch of the scratch. Remember, to know and not to do is not to know, right? And if you find that you're not able to do this, you need to really take a look at yourself, because the love that's within is the love that I put out. And the love that I put out is the love that I feel. And if you want to feel more love, then putting out more love is truly the gift. You give your own gift by being the gift. Yeah. Let's get back to the teaching, right? Okay, and I will see it, having chosen to behold my brother in its holy light. So we're choosing to see everybody, and my brother is everybody. There's not ones you pick out, it's everybody. Everybody is your brother. White, black, yellow, red, I don't know what you want to call. I mean, we've got a lot of colors in our beautiful humankind. What could restore your memory to me except to see my brother's sinlessness? His holiness reminds me that he was created one with me, and like myself, in him I find myself, and in you, and in your Son, I find the memory of you as well. So within the viewing of my brothers and sisters in sinlessness, and by changing my perception of the world, and the world changes around me, and my relationship with God, and the trust I have in my Father, you know, the one self that I am. I'm not playing tricks on myself anymore, right? I'm choosing to love all because it feels good. You know, that was one of my, I know that it ruffles people's feathers, and I don't care. I mean, sometimes you ruffle the wrong people's feathers, especially some people, they get so butthurt, and then they basically turn away from you. And, you know, unconditional love is not, it's not for the other person. It's not, no condition. There is a condition, because when I love, it feels good. I'm making a condition on myself just to love you anyway, right? And now I'm calling it unconditioned. Maybe it's descriptive. You could use it as a descriptive term to the other person, but honestly, the reason why we do these things is because it feels good. It feels good to me, right? So let's pray for a second. And then this is an interesting way to pray. And if you could, for me, think about your happiest moment that you ever had in your life. Just go back to that moment and feel good. Just see it in your mind. Could have been in bed with your best friend, kissing and hugging. You could do that. Could be that first spark when you've actually met your soulmate. I don't know if you've got your soulmate or not. I know I met one of my twin flame soulmate. I believe she's my soulmate. And when I kissed her, it sparked. Now, I've met a few other soulmates in my life, but it seems like so much closer in some cases, but getting that spark. Anyway, so just think about the happiest moment in your life and feel good now. Just feel good. Just feel that build up inside you. Just fill it up. Love, love, love. Feel the love, feel the love, feel the love. Put your hands on your heart. Now I want you to take this energy. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for the love that you've given us and peace. And I thank you again that clarity comes to the minds of all that who sees this, and that victory shall be theirs in every aspect of their life, and that they will be blessed in ways that nobody could ever know could be possible. I thank you in Jesus' mighty name, in the name above all names, Zeus. Remember, Jesus means Hail Zeus. It's kind of funny, isn't it? I learned it after I learned it just about 6 months ago. Billy Carson was sharing it. He goes, Jesus means Hail Zeus. The Greeks put that in there. So, I'm not asking you to hail me, but you know what? If you would listen to these lessons, I guarantee it will bless you and it will make you feel like you're being hailed, because you know what? All the universe loves you. I love you and I wish you the best day ever. And remember, every day and every way, you get better, better, and better.